Hello everyone, this is Blender Guppy. In this video, I'm not gonna do anything particularly special. I'm just going to show you how I model something random. So in this video, I'm going to model or use the random flow add-on on a simple model like a crate. Okay, so let's start with the base mesh. Actually, let's do something like this. I'm going to I'm going to put a bevel and a weighted normal using bevel the cuber add-on. Add weighted normal. Use just a segment of one and in random flow copy all modifiers. So the randomized mesh will not only copy the mirror modifier but also copy the rest of the modifiers from the source mesh. Okay, quad slice. Okay, so this is like this because the longest edge on this face is this one, so it followed that. And just in case that happens, we'll just do the rotation. So something like 5. 0. Maybe we can use the other tangents. So this is the tangent of the selected face, and this is the tangent of the neighboring faces. Five 5.5 and increase this 0.01. That get rid of the edge right here, 0.001. We can see that the edge is in the middle in the symmetry line, so increasing the distance, it's rate of that. And we're only going to use the y-axis, and we've codified this, the previously selected face. And I'm going to create the slice and press Y, mirror, shift to snap, and alt, shift and alt to snap to the first point, to snap the last point to the first point. It should be higher, so grab and press grab again to activate. So that's G. You press H, you can see all the controls in the drawing. Okay, you get the middle. The slice, shift C, oops, C, nope, there we go. And place the I forgot the name of that. The origin, the center of the mesh. So the drawing object will be, or the drawn object will be placed in that position. And increased thickness. So we've sliced that, but where's the... Okay, didn't work because we have the mirror modifier. So this is going to be a more like a chest, and so this is ice tools Y and X, so it's also drawn on the other side. But this one also. So selecting this object here, draw polymesh. So you can see that the indicator is on the second point. That means that um, the draw object will be placed there. Just place it right here, cut, and so Shift Tab. Instead of the marker, I'm pressing Shift Tab for the origin to be surface. That means that all the points in the draw object will be snapping to the surfaces underneath. I'm going to select this and this, and lastly the Boolean object, and then cut to target. Wait, active, active, cut, active. Oh, cut from active. There we go. Make this smaller. It's not looking too good there, so I just removed it. Hit tab again. You can also go to edit mode and edit this. Then we can apply the visible booleans, but the mirror is also applied, so we have to reestablish the mirror, X and Y. So if we're going to use the random flow add-on on this, we're going to quantify these faces. So quad slice, and let's get rid of this. Tag vertex and quad slice tagged. Rid of this and this one. So this is 4 faces except for this one here. What to do instead is tag this and quad slice tagged, rotate, and let it follow the line right here. Okay, so and here verts, there's a vert here. Oh, there's a vert there. Okay, and Let's try and connect that there and make it straight. So instead of making two lines, we're just going to uh, adjust this and make it meet up with this word here. So period and use active element as the pivot point, and we're going to scale it to the x-axis. This one I'm just gonna use the knife. No, really yes. I just when I draw the used K and then draw the knife, I press C. If I don't press C, then it won't cut right here. So pressing C makes the cut through option right here activate. C, and I have a line right there. Okay, so most of these are quadrant. So what's this? This is actually a triangle. And well, let's hope this topology gives us something. Uh, Tag these words and select these faces right here. Quad slice tagged and words. So we're quantifying because the random flow add-on only works with quad faces. The subdivisions only works with quad faces. Two, three, four. Try and let's try and get rid of this. So we have try right here and try right here. Connect using J. So that's not gonna work. Two triangles will defeat each other. So subdivide, rotate, and we get that's exactly the topology on the first one. So let's use this one instead. Those are quads. So as you can see, I have a other extensive knowledge on the how to use Blender for modifying the topology of the model, and also the wireframe on how to find ways in order to make them quads. So that's what I want you to learn as you use the tools also, because it's very important. You see this triangle here? We can actually create a vert right here in the middle by subdividing it, WS, and J to connect, and get rid of this. Then we have this. It's actually a, it's now quad, but with this structure, let's try this. Like flat faces. If that kind of structure will give us good results. Visual, it depends on the topology. So if your topology is kind of twisting, we have to fix that area. If you're watching a video like this, don't follow videos step by step, because just watch it and practice on your own later on. So that's exactly what I did. I just watched the entire video and practice on my own model, especially with lessons on topology, because it's quite a different area. So 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. In order for this to be straight, we have to delete that and J. Okay, let's capitulate and just quantify it using this. Okay. So everything is now quads. Let's deal with the other one. This is much easier because quad slice, tangent, inverts. Okay, from dealing with this, so tag verts, quad slice, tagged, and all faces. And get rid of this quad slice, selected only, and verts. That come from this side. Okay. So it's the last one. Tag verts, tagged only. Okay, so now it's actually, if this doesn't give us any good result, we can actually just use the extract faces and change the topology of this to something straight using grid. probably grid project. I'm going to select the two of them and cut a line. Pressing A, knife mode, goes to angle, and press C. Okay. Press C before the cut. So A to angle, and press C to cut through, and confirm. And then selecting this objects here, this edge loop, and inset. Press B to get rid of the faces in the symmetry line. Okay, so I'm going to save this as just a blender. This is how it will open, I guess. Or it can open like this. Cursor selected, press period, 3D cursor. It can open like this, and there's a cavity right here and here. So I'm not gonna design the cavity, just the outside. Cursor selected, or it can open like this. Go back to median point. Okay, let's design the thing. Actually, let's try and bevel this edges right here. Okay, let's revert the inset a bit and only inset the top part. Okay, you can reverse it. There's a distortion right here, see? So I'll just have to manually fix that. You also need to learn how to fix the topology using the tools in Blender. Okay, just that going to just insert the top part and beveling. Press C to activate clamp, but we have double verts here, so press select everything, press M, and by distance. Then increase the merge by distance 0.001. Okay, so the doubles are gone. Actually, let's revert that. I'm actually going to use the random loop extrude here and panels on the exposed surfaces. So we have settings, copy all modifiers, and let's start randomizing on the surfaces. Random panels, wrap around. Okay, so we have distortions because the amount of bevel and amount of the way the inset and depthness and the depth is depthness. The thickness and the depth is it's causing an overlap because of the bevel amount. The bevel is too thick, so we have to use it or fix the random panels. Clip center. There we go. And reduce this depth. I'm going to use something like 50. Actually, if you have bevel and if you use thickness of 0 in random panels, you can still see the cut lines because of the bevel effect. If I remove the bevel, You don't see the cut lines. There's no distinction. If I reestablish the bevel, you can see the cut line. So that's another trick with the um, bevel modifier and random panels. But let's use thickness of 10 and increase the distance in the symmetry line. Flip the vertices there, and let's try and find something that looks functional to the relative to the model that we're trying to create. So this looks good. Remember the panel seed and panel size is 25% and using radial. So if you find a seed value that you like and you still want to experiment on other values, Control C to copy it. Just hover over the parameter or the property, Control C, and you can scroll away, and if you can't find anything else that looks good, you can just paste it. Paste the value again, Control V on the property. I think this looks good. Let's try this one. — 15%. So this needs additional topology for the radial to work. So let's give it okay, this looks good. And let's just layer in additional details later on. This part here. So I'm just gonna leave this part alone, or this Boolean result alone. Actually, this is not looking straight. Link flood faces. I forgot that link flood faces. Okay. Random panels. Use 15. Let's focus more on this side. So by the way, everything in the add-on has a max cap. So this you can drag to 12 or use Control mouse button, drag up and down to bring it up to 12 or 0. So 12 is the soft max, but you can enter a higher value and then use the slider again to go beyond 12. Control mouse button, roll up and down. Okay. Okay, that looks good. Actually, we need to include this part for the wraparound. Let's try it. So this is looking pretty weird. try and capture it separately, or do the randomization on it separately. We're going to have a split right here, but that's okay. Okay, this looks good. Then this looks better than the previous one. And with this part here, since the topology is giving us, I want it to be straight. So I'm going to extract this part. As I'm selecting, I'm pressing Shift to select plus. So instead of selecting just one, so pressing Shift selects a lot more. Okay. Hide everything else. And then auto mirror X, Y. So let's change the topology. Hopefully it will give us a better result. Let's try and actually solve this. X limited dissolve and grid quad slice. Okay, make everything 55. No, 50. No, 0.01. Grid project and rotation 35. Increase the size. So this might work or not. Triangulate ingons. Okay, don't triangulate ingons. Yeah, that might not work. You know what? Let's try the original. Bring flat faces. Radial. Increase the resolution. And just play with the seed value until we find something uh useful. Nope. Flat faces. Auto mirror X, Y. Limited dissolve. And quad slice 55.1.01. Let's try this one and also fix the rotation. There we go. Get rid of the small faces. Try and get rid of the small faces. 1, 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. Okay. Panels. Set this to 1. Get it back to 1. There we go. It's giving us a lot straighter result. Sometimes you really have to edit the topology. Mm. By the way, if you want to do this manually, I can teach you another method. So let's just select something that looks good, and I'll teach you another method using ice tools. So ice tools will be changed, ice tools and cuber will be changed to decorative flow, and their their identity, or what makes their functions that makes their identity, will be maintained. And I'm going to remove some of the stuff that are redundant. Okay, this looks, wait, why is the thickness doing that? Oh, because of the level. Let's try and use this. So with ice tools, you can put a Control Shift E to edit draw, press S to put a solidify, and Alt 1, 2, 3 to change the offset to there. Control Shift E. Okay, so something like this. And then for the bevel, actually, uh, it should be ice tools and Cuber for this. So if you select an edge flow or an edge loop and mark this as sharp, and in the redo panel, add edge split modifier. Okay, add edge split modifier. Forgot the second option. Mark sharp, split solidify modifier. There we go. So you can actually draw wires on this. Oops. Sharp, clear sharp. And this is how you can do it manually using the two add-ons. But you have this, okay? Oops, Rose. So if we apply this, oops, um, okay, split the sharp island first. Okay, and then you can apply the draw modifiers. And now they're solid meshes, but they're separate objects. But you can use this method to bake the cut details into a uh, normal map. So that's pretty good option later in the future if the topology is not giving you the anything good, you can use the creative flow add-on to create manually create cut details. Okay, so I'm using random loop extrude on this one, and let's try and extract the faces, auto mirror. So the randomized mesh will inherit that and create some variation in the topology. That random loop extrude, and I'm going to use my preset up around. So maybe this is 0.03, 0.03, 0.03. So watch the other videos, previous videos. I'm talking about the overlaps on this, so I don't have to repeat myself every time. I'm just going to increase the loop panel size and play with the inset depth to get rid of the overlapping faces. They're not overlapping means they're on the same plane. So like that. But this is just for the in render, it's not going to be a problem if they share the same material. Okay, that's the this is actually the extracted mesh. Let's try and random panels, create recursive longest sampling. So that's gonna be the detail underneath. And let's not just triangulate. Decrease the subdivision, increase the depth. You can actually use this to create random heights. The seed value. Okay, that looks good. So kind of like an exposed mechanism, sort of exposed mechanism effect. Okay, let's do that. So, like I said, it's like finding functionality in chaos. Okay, so let's use like this, and link flat faces. Let's use panel screws and custom captive. So this inherited the bevel modifier, but it's too big for them. Okay, so let's adjust it later just for the screws. And limited dissolve. This is reversed because of the topology. How the add-on or how the operator manages the margin is by insetting. But when it uses too much, you can see that this part here, this has reversed the normal. And if we do that, so this is the margin. You can see the what I mean. But if we use limited dissolve, because this is what happens when we use limited dissolve on that, becomes a single phase on its own plane. So captive, use limited dissolve, and decrease the size. Where's the radius? 0.015 margin. Okay. And give it a random rotation. Rotation number one does not randomize the rotation, so you can set it as is with the rotation property. But once you go past number one, then it will use random rotation per individual screw. Okay, so which makes it much more believable. Okay, let's get rid of the center verts screws and edit synchronize settings and edit the bevel for them. There we go. Okay, there is still okay, and use it here again. Final screws captive. Actually, we can tag the verts we want to use. Tag this and this. Oh, not that. This, and this. Oh, this. Tag verts. Link float faces. And panel screws. Custom, captive, and tag verts only. And randomize the rotation. Then reuse the same angle we used to the last screws. Let's add it here as well, but let's limit the panels on this. So we're selecting the corner verts where it's essentially going to show up. There we go. Tag the verts. So tag verts doesn't just work with quad slice, it also works with panel screws. Um, Panel screw. No faces selected. Okay. Link flat faces. Wait a minute. Think I just forgot what I selected. Old age. Tag verts. Think flat faces. Panel screws. Captive. Okay. And recycle or reuse the bevel weight from before. Okay. This one as well. Captive. And let's delete the center. If you forgot to tag the verts, just delete the. Go to X-ray. You can select all the faces. Press F. Or you can hover over the faces. If you're in face selection mode, L, L, that's select island, and XF. Select the, to delete the faces. Okay. Let's try it here and see what we get. Okay, so again, if you forgot to set like the verts, then you can just go in, select the randomized result, and fix it manually. The geometry is already there, so no biggie. There we go. Just makes it faster for you to create these kinds of detail. Okay. Tag verts and link flat faces. Oops, they select this. Optive. No, I did not. Tag verts and div. Oh, oh, because I doesn't stack up. The tagging doesn't stack up. Okay, good to know. Tag verts, link flat faces, and panel screws. Optive. Select the objects again. Reuse the previously used bevel settings. And this one right here, link flat faces. And don't use tag verts. Use the old bevel values. Manually delete the, because I'm too lazy to tag verts. Okay, so we have the screw effects. And actually, this already looks really good. You can actually go in and model some, oh, this is quad slice, 0.001, some manually model in some details by actually modeling from the uh, randomized result. Cool thing about this is the geometry, most of the details already given to you. So okay, and okay, let's extract. Shift tab to snap it to the surface and get rid of the solidify modifier. Oops. Control is Shift E. Edit modifier, press S to get rid of the solidify modifier. And flip the normal. Bevel this. So I'm just gonna move manually bevel this. And as this is already the target, so shrink wrap to target. Um, freeze. Oh no, thaw. Yeah, thaw. No, control I. Freeze. Wait, I forgot. Shrink wrap to target. Use the too much time. Add the bevel and freeze these vertices and shrink wrap to target. Use shrink wrap modifier. Use state transfer and froze inverts. Invert. So that didn't work. Material preview. It looks like it's a part of the mesh underneath without actually modeling the. Actually, if they share the same material and with this kind of topology, we don't need the shrink wrap modifier at all or data transfer modifier. So look, if they share the same material and this is this face here is totally planar to this face underneath and they're sharing the same material, we don't need the data transfer trick to actually make it look like it's a part of the same to make it look like they're the same object. Okay, what else? Okay, so the detail, flat faces, random panels, inner, make this smaller, 0.005, three zeros, and 0.001, 0.01. So this is the same trick that we used with the saucer. It looks like it's part of the uh, model underneath. But if you're using cycles, you have to select the object. Go to object properties in the viewport, in the visibility, go to ray, visibility, and turn off everything besides the camera. So if you render this in cycles, it will look like this object is part of the surface underneath, or they're the same object. So what we did is created another layer of detail without too much geometry. A zero, because we are already dealing with too much faces anyway. It's just radial. Oops. 10%. 5%. Let's try this one. And here as well, length flat faces. And then we're going to colorize using random vertex color. But I'm just going to use gray values. So I've set the saturation minimax to 0. So we can turn on the material, okay, preview, and use Alt X and use Cuber, vehicle matte. This will assign the vehicle vertex color node on the shader that we're using. So we can reuse the random vertex color again on material preview to look at what's happening with the object. So let's use this and make this same color as the surface underneath. Selecting a face, copy, selecting all the faces, set, okay. So now they still look like the same object. And selecting all the wire, cut details, solid, okay. Let's use the same, how many objects were that? Was that 3 objects? Let's use the same color for all of them. We can use the cuber for that, or we can use random vertex color and set the objects to how many objects it is. So 3 objects or 4, going past 3 is okay. Also the panels, the screws, they all must have the same um, vertex color as well. So I'm just gonna leave it at that, and I can tackle the shading on the next video. Yeah, I'll probably do that. So let's leave it at this in this video, and let's tackle the procedural texturing and composting in the second video. So let's just put in some lights here. Control click on the new button and pick a material emission. Change the color, something like blue. Change the intensity. Then reassign it here using the material palette. Actually, let's use orange. So this is the cube or slice. We can actually extract this part here. Inset. And press S for even inset. It like this. Control. Sorry. F inset to have a border and delete the faces. And then here, reset mirror. Oh, okay, I'm using auto mirror XY and control click, glass, okay, material preview. There you have the glass, but we're going to get rid of the protruding detail here. Control plus. So this is pretty easy to fix. Press F. Just model something that's not going to be going past the glass, I mean. Just gonna use the material palette to change the color of the and copy, selecting the face that has the material, copy. So it now has a separate material. Copy that material so we can set a different color for it. Let's try green. This means that it's probably safe to open, probably. And let's make this darker, the glass darker. Okay. So we're probably going to use another uh, lighting method for this when we get to the next video. So I'm just gonna leave it as in this state, and let's tackle the texturing or the procedural shading and composting in the next video. So that's it. Thank you for watching. If you have any questions, use the comment section and the links in the description of the video. And thank you for watching and have a nice day.